Okay. Okay, you join us to the back of the room. Welcome to take a seat. And we'll start the afternoon session. Does anyone know what day it is, apart from being Wednesday, the 19th of November? Thank you very much, Chris. I thought I was going to have to squeeze that out of you, but yes, you're 100% right. So today is GIS Day, which is a worldwide day for people in the GIS industry and to promote the industry and just to talk about how powerful it is to use geospatial data in their data analysis. So where do standards come in there? Well, if you work in the GIS industry and you've ever been frustrated that you can't find your data, that's where your metadata standards come in. So you're able to go find your data using a metadata standard and a lot more, actually. And then if you're struggling to access that data, there are data standards to help you access that data. And I think sometimes within the GIS industry and certainly outside it, people just expect that you'll be able to find and access your data. They expect these things just to happen. But there are a lot of standards behind those functions. Interoperability that we've been talking about this morning is a huge issue in bringing data sets together. And there are a whole range of different standards about content, about formats and things that allows that interoperability to happen. So when you're talking to someone in the future and they're a bit frustrated about the interoperability of their data, then you can say, well, I met a chap in Sweden and he was a nice chap and he told me all about standards and you should come and help put those standards together, because that's what it's that work that is hidden that helped to put that together. So I just thought I'd mention that, and it does dovetail onto our next set of presentations. We have talked about skills this morning, a huge amount, and we've talked about bringing skilled people into the business. And every business I know suffer from it. They've always got to grow their own or bring skills when the top level managers retire, and we are no different. So I'm really pleased that here in Sweden that the next three presentations are about engaging young people. So the first one is from, she's remote, Sofi Almqvist from Geoforum Sweden, and she's going to talk about the skill supply in the geodata industry. So can we get Sofi set up?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Frederick, can we get?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. And yes, thanks for having me. And I will share, not this one. Yes. I will talk about skill supply in the geodata industry. How do we attract young people to the geodata industry? That has been our focus in a project conducted by Geoforum Sverige and Lantmäteriet, the Swedish Mapping, Cadastral and Land Registration Authority. And this has been a collaboration with municipalities, companies and educational institutions. My name is Sofi Almqvist. I'm CEO for Geoforum Sverige. And Geoforum Sverige is the National Association for Geodata and Digital Spatial Planning. Yes. And It is a huge challenge for both public and private organizations to find expertise in geodata in Sweden. Skill supply has long been a major challenge for the geodata field. It is difficult to recruit with the right skills, and the application pressure for the educational programs are low. At the same time, the need for expertise in geodata is increasing, which is becoming very important for multiple organizations. The digitalization of the urban planning process is one example where we require geodata competence. In 2021, Lantmäteriet has mapped out how it looks in the industry. They asked municipalities, businesses, authorities, and educational institutions, and everyone says the same thing. This is a problem, and actions are required, otherwise, the industry risks to be depleted. And one reason is that the industry is perceived as anonymous. Few are aware of what geodata is and what professions exist. It is related to the fact that the industry is fragmented. Geodata is often a smaller part of the organization or is scattered across multiple functional areas. To reach out, the industry needs to come together and speak with one voice. The geodata industry is perceived as anonymous. Why is that? In Sweden, there are between 11,000 and 24,000 people working in the geodata industry. So it's a smaller field of work. Geodata activities are rarely consolidated within the same organization, but are often dispersed across multiple units within the same organization. What is produced is often a part of a larger whole, such as documentation for a building permit or data for a property information. It provides very limited opportunities for individual or collective initiatives. The units working with geodata are almost always very small parts within a much larger organization, regardless of whether they are municipalities, government agencies, or educational institutions. This makes it difficult to allocate time and resources for collective initiatives, such as funding and sector council marketing, and so on. With the significant needs that each entity in the industry has for qualified employees, the focus is usually on investing resources in one's own success. With the conditions in the industry, coordinations does not work well enough to enable collective initiatives. The larger players, who are not particularly larger themselves, cannot take responsibility for all the smaller ones. There would be a significant imbalance if they were always expected to shoulder the responsibility for development, innovations, and even marketing. So what is the desired state? The industry is important for Sweden's digitalizations and requires significant number of well-educated employees. The industry needs assistance in becoming larger and more prominent. In other words, funding is needed to create an attractive geodata industry for both the professions within the industry and the educational programs available. Stakeholders in the geodata field needs to collaborate and speak with one voice. The project that we have been worked on aims to increase awareness of the interest in the geodata industry. The long-term goal is to ensure that the geodata field does not suffer from depletion of skills. The prioritized target groups are high school students specializing in natural science, technology, and social sciences. The project started in autumn 2022, and it was continued for 3 years. And the project is funded by Smart Built Environment, which is a strategic innovation program funded by Vinnova, Sweden's innovation agency, the Swedish Energy Agency, and Formas. And Formas is Swedish Government Research Council for Sustainable Development. Project partners is Geoforum Sverige and Lantmäteriet. And we have several participating organizations from municipalities, governmental agencies, companies, and educational institutions. And you can see them here. So, what have we been doing in this project? We have carried out feasibility study and environmental scanning. We have hired a communication agency to help us build a common digital platform that gathers information about the industry. We have developed a communication materials and carried out a campaign and activities that reach out to young people. Purpose with the project. It was to build awareness and spark curiosity, to generate interests and a sense of excitement around our field. Ultimately, the goal is to inspire young people to pursue education and careers related to geodata and digital spatial development. We collaborated within the industry to define our key messages. How can we engage young audiences? How should we describe the industry and what aspect should we highlight? Our main objective is to show how geodata contributes to solving societal challenges and to emphasize careers where you have the opportunity to influence and make a real difference. The field is rapidly evolving, driven by digitalization and new technologies, such as digital twins that we have heard about today, drones, and advanced visualization tools. Innovations that naturally attract curiosity and enthusiasm. To ensure the campaign reached its target audience, we partnered with Spoon, a communication agency with strong expertise in both strategic communication and young engagement. They have deep knowledge of platforms such as TikTok, understanding what content works there, current trends, and topics that resonate with young audience. And here you can see behind the scenes from where we filmed the campaign videos. And the people you see here and the people featured in the videos, they are real students. And we used real students to make it more authentic. Together with the communication agency Spoon, we develop a comprehensive communication strategy, including a concept, website, and a digital campaign with video content designed to reach young people. We chose to focus primarily on digital channels, especially TikTok, aiming to create content that stands out and make people stop scrolling. The goal of the project was to establish a solid foundation for future communication, a long-term platform and concept that can support different types of outreach and activities over time. The first campaign started in February 2024 and ran until mid-April. During the campaign period, we reached an impressive 1.5 million accounts across platforms, of which over 700,000 chose to watch at least half of the videos. We saw a strong engagement with the content, especially on TikTok, where the videos received over 6,000 likes and nearly 300 comments. The website also had high traffic during the campaign period. We have received very positive feedback from the industry, and many organizations and professionals report that they have greatly benefited from the material. And now I am going to show you an example of a video clip. It's in Swedish, but it's very short, and it's just for an example. So I will show you the clip, and then I will explain it for you.
Vet du vad Göteborg och Fortnite har gemensamt? Inte? Jo, Göteborg har byggt en så kallad digital tvilling med samma spelmotor som Fortnite. En digital kopia av Göteborg som med Geodata kan visualisera hur olika beslut kan påverka staden. Lite som ett dataspel, fast på riktigt då. Resultatet, möjligheten att bygga en hållbar stad. Sluta gissa, svaret finns i Geodata.
This was an example of the video clips that we had on TikTok, and we made them in a way that young people could attract to it. So it should be short and quick and informative. And this video clip that you saw right now, it's an example from Gothenburg City, as we have heard of earlier today. And it's about what Göteborg City and Fortnite has in common. And if you go to the website, you can see other video clips that we have on the website. It's all in Swedish, and you have the QR code here to the website. Continuously through the project, the issue of a long-term operational model and financing was raised and evaluated together with the Skills Council. It has proven challenging to establish a business model and secure continued funding. Applications for further funding for Stop Guessing were submitted but not granted.
Sophie, could you start to finish up, please? We've got about a minute left.
Yes. The project has helped make the geodata sector more visible, reduced anonymity, and inspire more people to pursue education in the field. However, a long-term success required persistent and strategic efforts. And to enable continued progress and strengthen the geodata sector, a more stable financing solution is therefore necessary. Only then can the sector speak out with one voice, creating lasting results and meet the needs of the future in a coordinated and effective way. So thanks a lot. And if you have more questions, you can contact me about the project, Sofi Almqvist at Geoforum.
Yeah, although I don't speak Swedish, Sophie, it's very impressive. I was quite impressed by the number of stakeholders that you managed to put together to put it together in the first place. So they were all organisations, large and small, that recognise the need for this work. And I was also quite impressed with the numbers of reactions that you got. So hopefully you we'll get people into the geospatial industry in Sweden from that. And I think it's a really good example for other countries to follow. Does anybody have any questions for Sophie at all? Yep, Margie.
It's Margie Smith from Australia. A question about going into the schools. Is there a program, are you thinking about a program in the future to introduce this topic as a subject in school, or maybe as part of geography in their curriculum? That's all.
We have had collaboration with educational with schools, and we would really love to continue this work. It's if we're going to see a result, we need to work with this a long term to see more applications. And right now, we need more funding to continue with this project. So that's a difficult.
Yeah, it's the sustainability of the funding, isn't it?
Yes,
Because once you start something, you
exactly.
need to keep it going.
Exactly.
Brilliant.